כבשעה טובה. Where פרק י"ד, פסוק ל"ה, last פסוק of פרק י"ד. רצון מלך לעבד משכיל. The favor of the king goes to the servant that is wise. ועברתו, and his anger, תהיה מביש. Right? תהיה מביש, על מביש. It's going to be on the כסיל. So says the Gaon the following. This pasuk is based on another pasuk, פרק ט"ז, pasuk י"ד, which I think is important. The pasuk says the following. Hamat melech malach mavet. When the king gets angry, he sends messengers of death. Ve'ish hacham yechaperena. And the wise man appeases, right? Is a kapara, appeases the anger of the king. There, the Gaon says that when the melech is angry, his hamato, right, sends. How does he expresses his anger? By sending messengers of death. Okay. The ish chacham, the wise man with his chokhmah, knows how to appease the anger of the king. Like a mashal, for example, you have a king that's very upset, somebody that's very, very upset, and he's about to break everything, and suddenly his little baby boy comes in, right? He sees his child, his baby boy, so automatically the anger drops. So based on this pasuk, says the Gaon like this. Melech is Melech Malchei HaMelachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. When HaKadosh Baruch Hu is angry, when there's Hamat Melech, so there's the Malach HaMavet is here. What does the Ish Chacham do? He appeases the anger of the king. But we know, Udvar HaMelech and Le'ashiv, right? Yes, that's what we say in Megillat Esther. That when the Melech sends a Gzera, the Melech cannot go back on his word. He can write a new Gzera, but he cannot go back on his word. So what happens? HaKadosh Baruch Hu says the Gaon will send the Malach HaMavet somewhere else. When there is the anger of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the anger of HaKadosh Baruch Hu is with the tzaddik is now reoriented. Where is it going? Ala mevish. So that's what the pasuk says. Reson melech le'eved maskil. The melech, Kadosh Baruch Hu has favor. The eved maskil, the wise servant, the chacham, finds favor in the eyes of the melech. That's reson melech le'eved maskil. And how does that translate itself? Ve'evrato tiyeh mevish. Right? He redirects the evra, the anger of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, somewhere else. Ken? So, B'siyata Dishmaya, that is, that with this pasuk, we conclude Perek Yud Dalet. Perek Tedvav, pasuk Aleph. Ma'anerach yashiv hema. When you talk softly, when you answer softly, ma'ane is an answer. Yashiv hema, you appease the anger. Udvar etzev ya'ale af. But when you speak words of anger, ya'ale af, you awake the anger. Says the Gaon, there's a difference between af and hema. Charon af and hema. Af is anger b'machshava and b'dibur. It's when the idea makes you angry, you're angry inside, and you're so angry that it I don't want to say consumes, but it takes your mind to the point where you're gonna say something out of anger. That's af. Hema is one step more when it becomes an action, when you act upon that anger. So af is the beginning of the anger. Hema is the end of the anger. So says Shlomo HaMelech, Ma'ane Rach, Yashiv Hema. When you softly, so you're able now to appease the person that is angry inside, even if he says harsh words. And that's how you appease the anger. However, Udvar etzev ya'ale af, whoever speaks bad, speaks words of anger, ma'ale af, he awakes the emotional anger. And that anger didn't exist. So with soft words, you can appease a physical anger. That's how much you can do with ma'anerach. And with devar etzev, with bad words, with speaking bad, you can spark the anger in someone's heart.
Mechila. What's the chidush?
The hidush is that with soft words, yes, you can stop someone from being physically responsive with his anger. The dvar etzev, you might say things that are bad, and that might, maybe that's not going to make somebody angry. Says Shlomo HaMelech, when somebody speaks bad, it has in it the power to turn on the anger in someone's heart. So you're responsible for his anger. Okay, that's the hidush. That's the hidush.
It shows you can end the anger or start the anger with your dibur.
Correct.
Okay. Is this going back to the previous parak that we saw that the wise man knows how to appease the anger of Hashem? Or is this Ben Adam le Adam?
זה בין אדם לחברו.
This is Ben Adam le.
Yes.
So nothing to do with appeasing Hashem's anger like we saw before.
Not in this Hidush. No. There's, you can extrapolate to it. The Gaon doesn't speak about it, yes? But you can also take this to the next level also with HaKadosh Baruch Hu, but that's not the Hidush of the Gaon. Okay? These are like, we're going to see a lot of small. Okay. Pasuk Bet. Leshon Chachamim tetiv da'at. The tongue of the Chachamim enhances da'at. Ufi ksilim, and the mouth of the dullards, yabia ivelet, brings out folly, brings out stupidity. Says the Gaon.
We saw mouth and tongue recently.
Yes. Nachon. So the tongue of the Chachamim and embellishes their da'at. Why? Because when they teach, when they say something, when the fact by saying it, you understand how well they know what they're saying through their clarity, yes, through their mastering of the knowledge. So when the tzaddik, when the Talmid Chacham speaks, the formulation of the words that he uses, his delivery enhances the beauty of the da'at that he has. It exposes, yes, the ma'ala, the greatness of his da'at. However, ufik silim, the mouth of the ksil, not only that they say, yeah, foolish things that doesn't have da'at, but even this is not said b'yishuv da'at. It's said through stupidity. It's emptiness. Yes, stupid comments said in a stupid way. So why the mouth versus the tongue? The mouth represents superficiality, where the tongue represents pnimiut. So here Shlomo Melech is telling us that your delivery and your communication can enhance who you are in the eyes of people, or vice versa, or the other way around. Yes. Good. Pasuk Gimel. בכל מקום עיני השם צופות. Hashem sees in every place, looks in every place. Ra'im v'tovim, the bad places and the good places. Brian is going to ask, what's the Hidush? Hashem sees everything, everywhere. So says Gaon like this. One may think that the eyes, since the eyes of HaKadosh Baruch Hu tehorot, Hashem has pure eyes. So he cannot look at the Reshaim. He cannot look at the bad. And because he doesn't look at the bad, that's why the bad have a good time in this world. That doesn't mean they're not going to pay at the end, yes? But HaKadosh Baruch Hu is not mashgiach. He doesn't look, doesn't pay attention to the Ra'im because he's pure. How can someone pure look at someone impure? This concept extends further. And where is that coming from? For example, you're not allowed to look at someone that is Mehalel Shabbat. If you look at someone on Shabbat that is Mehalel Shabbat, his actions automatically stain your eyes. The same thing the Ramban says, that a man should not look at his wife when she's teme'ah, when she's impure. Because if he looks at his wife when she's impure, her impurity becomes, stains his eyes, his sight. This concept also, we find it with Paro and Moshe. Paro, the last time that he sees Moshe, he says, next time you see me, you'll die. And Moshe says, you're right. Next time I'll see you, I will not see you again. Okay? And Chachamim explained, because Paro got at such a high level of impurity, of Tum'ah, that level of Tum'ah could have had an impact on Moshe Rabbeinu. So Paro tells him, next time you see me, you should know you or the Moshe that's in you will die. And Moshe said, you're right, I cannot look at you. So we see that there is such a concept that we are not allowed to look at impurity. Me'idach, we see that HaKadosh Baruch Hu will tell Moshe, go and look at Eretz Israel. And by looking at Eretz Israel, he's going to do the tikkun of Einayim, what Chachamim tell us. So it is clear that there is a direct impact between what you see, and therefore we would think that HaKadosh Baruch Hu, that is the ultimate eyes of purity, will not look at the Temeim. Yes, so we would think that. So says Shlomo HaMelech, מה פתאום? בכל מקום עיני השם צופות, רעים וטובים. הקדוש ברוך הוא sees everything. And he also sees the bad things. This is now aligned with the yesod that we've been learning, that we have the obligation to be aware of our Yetzer Hara. Yes, we cannot be disconnected from it. We have to be close to our enemies so that we know what's going on. But shofot, so faith from far. Yes, so here it says, Ene Hashem tzofot, to see from far. We don't get too close. We see enough to understand what's going on, but we don't get too close. Another chidush, he says this is also coming to answer Tzadik Rasha Vetovlo. How can it be that a Rasha has a good life? So Shlomo HaMelech says, don't worry, HaKadosh Baruch Hu sees the Rasha and he sees what he's doing. And if he gave him a good life for two reasons, or because Atid Sheyelo Banim Tzaddikim, maybe he's going to have a son or a grandson that's going to be a tzaddik. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu needs to give him, just so that, yes, this tzaddik can blossom and flourish in an environment that will allow him to become a tzaddik. Or because at the end, whatever good that he has given the Rasha, yes, is a punishment. So he sees the end, Chofeh. He sees from far. He doesn't focus only on what's happening right now, but he sees from far. Yes? Pasuk Dalet. Marpe Lashon Etz Chaim. A tongue that heals. Or what is Marpe Lashon? What is a tongue that heals? Etz Chaim. So, כן, וסלף בא שבר ברוח. But if you are devious with it, you can break a ruach. The Gaon explains. If somebody sinned with Lashon Hara or Rechilut, what is this refuah? That's Marpe Lashon. How do you cure the Lashon, the mouth from Lashon Hara? Et Chaim. Divrei Torah. But it's not Stam Divrei Torah. Tamid. שידבר תמיד בתורה. כן? So somebody, לא עלינו, the tikkun lemaise. I think it applies to every single individual. The tikkun of Lashon Hara and Rechilut, שידבר תמיד בתורה. To always be busy speaking דברי תורה. וסלף בא, and whoever is devious with his tongue, שבר ברוח. Says the Gaon, what stimulates a person to do mitzvot? His ruach. So when a person uses his tongue, his mouth, not the right way, so it breaks its instinct, its desire, its motivation to do mitzvot. And he no longer wants to do mitzvot. And all the gdarim, everything that he has built until now, to protect himself from averot, so that he can do mitzvot better, the mouth destroys. So says the Gaon, the Lashon Hara, using self, the devious tongue, a tongue, the mouth that's not used properly, breaks the momentum of a person and his excitement and desire to do mitzvot. That's one. And number two, and whatever he has built as a gidarim, as a geder, as a level of protection, that also is being destroyed. And that's a very big hidush. We think that we speak, and beseder, we spoke, we started, we finished, and it's only Gemara Sipur. Yes. If anything, we hurt somebody else. Yes. But what did we do to ourselves? Okay, so we fell in Lashon Hara. בסדר, I have to do תיקון. I have to do... אוקיי? אבל... זהו, נגמר הסיפור, מה עוד? Come Shlomo HaMelech, says the Gaon, and reveals to us that a devious mouth, a devious tongue, destroys the inner person, destroys his motivation, his desire, destroys everything he has built. So speaking bad, all it does, forget about the other, all it does is destroying a person himself. And not a superficial destruction, but a destruction from within. Because even his gdarim, what he's built for years, his yesodot, his foundation is being broken. That's the Hidush here. Pe, the gematria of Pe is Yud Ke Vav Ke Sag, right? Gematria Sag, Yud He Vav He Yud, Vav Dalet He Yud, Vav Aleph Vav He Yud, with the 22, which is Gematria 63. Add to this the 22 letters of the Torah, Gematria Pe, 63 plus 25, 63 plus 22, yes, 85, Gematria Pe. Okay? So the Pe builds, and that's what it's made for. It's made to use the 22 letters of the Torah with the name of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, okay? Which is the name of Bria, the name of creation. And im Khalila, you don't have that, then automatically it destroys. There's no other way. Or it builds or it destroys. There's no parve. That's the Hidush here. Good? Tov. Okay, we're gonna hold here. We did Pasuk Dalet. Just finished Pasuk Dalet.
Thank you.
Be'ava. Be'ava.